Passenger Seat Radio. It is April 14th, 2025. You're on my 13-mile commute home. Welcome to the show. Right, well, another week upon us. Tax week, for those of you paying attention. Yeah, I slid into the next tax bracket this year, and I'm pretty much screwed. I owe a lot of money to the government, so yeah, we'll see where I'm going to come up with that money. But yeah, it was pretty brutal. You think you are getting ahead in life by making more money and this and that, and then it turns out that in reality, making more money can screw you over. Go figure, right? So, just a second. Let me get out of the parking garage here. So tax day is never fun for me, but particularly not fun this year. I'll catch you up on my diet. I have been a good boy. I have not missed any of my dietary limitations. No cheat days, no sneaking. And remember, I weighed in at the cardiologist a few weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago, at 270, and got read the riot act, for those of you who may be a couple of shows behind. And so he put me on a rather stringent diet, sort of a modified keto sort of thing. And essentially, I can eat twice a day for 30 minutes. I can eat all I want as long as I stay within certain types of food groups, namely vegetables, berries, and protein. So, listen, I'm trying to work it out any way possible to eat the sorts of things that I love. So, obviously, so at 12 o'clock, I get to eat for 30 minutes, and at 6 o'clock, I get to eat for 30 minutes. I've been supplementing with V8 juice to help get my veggies in, because I'm not a big veggie eater. Wow, I just had 3 people show up and 3 people leave. I guess maybe the purple turned everybody off. I don't know. That's okay. Most of my listeners aren't live listeners anyway, so there we have it. So anywho, so I've been sticking to it. 2 weeks and 3 days, so I guess that's 2.5 weeks, right? And down from 270 to 255. Weighed in this morning, 255. So 15 pounds in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I'll take that, and hopefully it'll continue to go down, keep going on. So outside of tax week, it's also Easter week, which means a trip to my in-laws, which is okay. But it's the night after, or it's the day after the Kylie Minogue concert on Saturday, the 19th. And I know you won't believe it for a second, but Kylie does a great show, and it'll probably run fairly late. It's a 2.5-hour deal, and of course it's at the Foothills Pavilion, or whatever the hell it's called down here. So it'll definitely be a later night. But hey, listen, it should be a good show. It should be a good show. It's crazy how complicated tickets are these days, and I get it. There's a lot of nonsense going on with concert tickets and things like that, especially when you're putting out that kind of cash. I guess you want some level of protection. But for those of you, unlike me, that go see multiple concerts, for most of you, you probably already know about this, but your tickets. Hey now, Alex J. Lopez is here. Your tickets come in through an app, right? So Ticketmaster has their own app that you have to use. And of course, they claim how easy it is, right? Just open up the app and show your tickets, right? Well, I don't know what it is about Ticketmaster, but 9 times out of 10, when I open the Ticketmaster app, it tells me that there's some sort of problem with my network. I should try a different network, log off and come back in again. There's something not right, blah, blah, blah. That happens constantly when I use the Ticketmaster app. Because every time I get an email saying, get ready for Kylie, it's coming up soon, Don't forget, you can get your tickets in the Ticketmaster app. So I go down, I make sure I've got the Ticketmaster app, I make sure I log in till I can see my tickets, and it's like, something wrong with your network. We can't validate, log back in. And so it doesn't give me a lot of hope that when I'm actually in this bustling line trying to get into this fucking concert, that the Ticketmaster app's going to actually work. So typically speaking, in those situations, when I'm worried about an app not coming up or something, I'll snapshot a copy of the QR code. Whenever I return to Amazon, I do that, right? Because I don't want to have to dig through my emails and all that shit. So I snapshot a copy of the QR code, and then I'm ready to go. It's right there at the beginning of my gallery. Easy peasy. Well, as you may or may not already know, you can't do that with a Ticketmaster ticket because it's got some weird special shit going on. And I'd be interested to look into the technical aspects of it because I'm interested in that sort of thing. But I did finally get into the Ticketmaster app. It decided gratefully to let me in, I guess. And so I went in to look at my tickets, and when you bring the ticket up, it brings up a barcode, but it's got like this blue waving bar going back and forth. It's really weird. So it's got to have something to do with some sort of extra security or something, I don't know. But it tells you right there on the screen, you cannot screenshot this, like fuck off. So, but you can transfer them to your wallet. Now that even makes me more freaked out because I don't really trust the wallets either. So whatever, anyway. Boo-hoo, first world problems. I'm concerned about how I'm going to get into the Kylie Minogue concert on Saturday. So that's the big deal. My wife has been sick for weeks and weeks and weeks. Better part of a month and a half, actually. She's finally on the mend, but then came down with this killer migraine. And I think I talked about this on the show before. But if you're a migraine sufferer, listen, I used to think it was all bullshit and people were just, boo-hoo, my head hurts. Until I met my wife and found out that migraines are in a class by themselves. It really struck home in our early years of marriage when she got a migraine, went into the bathroom and would pound her head on the porcelain toilet. She would literally get down in the vomiting position and just start banging her forehead against the porcelain because that took away some of the pain. You know what I'm saying? But now, most anybody who's suffering migraines now probably have access to Emitrex and Nurtec. And I'll be honest, Nurtec has been, it's not generic, and insurance won't really cover it. So it's something like $30 a pill. But when you're in migraine fucking hell, $30 to make that go away is actually a good deal. And there's no generic of Nurtec yet. So you have to pay the piper if you want the good shit. But what's odd about this particular migraine that she's been suffering is that it wasn't going away. I mean, she still has some remnants of it now, and it's been like a week. So the Nurtec didn't handle it. She tried Emitrex, and that didn't handle it. A backup Nurtec didn't handle it. Yeah, it was really weird. It was really, really strange. So she's been, I've been hoping that she was going to be better for this concert because I will totally go without her ass to this Kylie Minogue concert. The amount of money I paid for those tickets, it's going to happen. So I would have to take my kid or something with me. But anyway, she's on the mend now, so hopefully we can get back to some sort of a decent life. I did get my hands finally on the MIG Switch flash card. It wasn't something I thought I was going to get. Nurtec, it's a heaven for migraine. Sorry, it's not working. Love your Steam Deck con. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, Nurtec, when we found out about the Nurtec, I'll go back to this for just a second. Emitrex worked pretty well for a while, but the Emitrex made her feel bad in a different way. It would get rid of the pain, but it would make her spacey and blah, blah, blah. It was just terrible. But then once we got a hold of the Nurtec, it was like, holy shit, this is like the magic bullet. Rarely in pharmaceuticals is there such thing as a magic bullet, but Nurtec, if you're going to have to name one, Nurtec was the silver bullet for her. And maybe, it was complications from the illness that she was facing. Hard to say. But in any event, Nerdtech has been just a godsend. It's a shame it costs so fucking much money, and I have a feeling it's going to end up going up in price sooner than later. Hopefully the generic will be due out. I think it's due, I looked it up. Usually it's what, 7-year patent on drugs before you can actually start getting them generic. I think it's 7 years patent protection or something like that. And I think we've only got a couple of years to go. I think I want to say it was like at the end of maybe at the end of this year. Something like that. Anyway, I'd have to look it up. If anybody happens to be listening and looks it up, let me know. But yeah, so good stuff with that. But yeah, so I did mention this MIG dumper that I picked up. So Switch emulation bothers the shit out of me because there's no legal way to do it, and it's a current gen console. And if anybody was pirating PS5 software, Xbox One X software, I'd be pissed about that too. But somehow, Nintendo deserves the big finger. So I don't care if it's current gen. Nintendo can kiss my ass, and you go see all these videos on YouTube. Nintendo deserves to be pirated. Do they though? I mean, okay, think of it this way. Maybe if you think Nintendo deserves it, that's one thing. But do the third-party developers, the ones that are, feeding their kids and shit off of this software development, do they deserve you pirating their software? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. And I won't get too deep into Nintendo piracy in general, but it's a big pain in the ass to do it, and it requires you violating the Digital Millennium Copyright Act 3 or 4 different ways. But anyway, suffice to say, I did grab the MIG dumper, which is essentially a card reader for Switch games. So you can literally take a real Switch cartridge, plug it into this cartridge, plug it into your PC or Steam Deck, whatever, and you get instant access to the card's file system. And on that file system are a number of different things, but of course also on the file system is the game ROM. So everyone's like, we can't preserve our games, which really means they want to pirate, right? Preservation is synonymous with piracy usually. I need to preserve my game, dude. It's a current gen system preservation. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, so that's been the whole thing. Nintendo won't let us preserve our games. So this MIG switch dumper will actually let you plug in a physical cartridge and dump the files off of the cartridge. There's your preservation. If that's all you care about is preservation, there it is. Now, if you want to play it on an emulator, you're now breaking the law. But if you want to preserve and not pirate, then you're golden. So I thought, you know what? This might be a nice tool to have. So I can dump, because my wife's a huge Switch fan. I could give a shit. But my wife plays all of her Atelier games. She likes to buy physical copies most of the time. So, let's protect that investment and dump those cartridges. Of course, you could download them, be a dirty, filthy pirate. There's that option. But in essence, what we're looking to do is keep her collection safe. And now we can archive off. Well, the other part of the pair is a flash cartridge. Now, you may or may not remember this one, so sorry if I'm covering common ground for you folks, but initially this MIG United came out with a little flash cartridge for the Steam Deck, for the Switch, and you plug, you basically take ROMs, you put them on an SD card, you plug the SD card into the flash cartridge, you put the flash cartridge into the Switch, and to change games, you would eject and plug it back in, and that would change to the next game. You eject, plug it back in, change to the next game. Well, obviously that was not ideal, right? God only knows if you have like 100 freaking games on there, you're going to be ejecting that card 100 times a day. Click, 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 click. So version 2 came out with, which is the way version 1 should have been, let's be honest, which I'm assuming cuts some sort of a power lead or something to the cartridge. So when you tap the button on the top of the little flash card now, it disconnects and reconnects, which of course simulates ejecting and putting it back in, which then changes to the next game. Now, there's no menu system. There's no, not like a traditional flash card like for the DS or for the Game Boy or whatever, where, you'd plug it in, turn it on. Here's a list of 10,000 games. Just pick what you want to play. In this case, there is no way to do that. You have to just push the button until the game you want comes up. You can go backwards, by the way. So if you want to play the last game you were playing, you can long press and go back the other way. So it's a little kludgy, but there's something so brilliant about this pair that I want to talk about. Now, not everybody watches me on YouTube, and that's cool, but I just did a video about it. But I'm not going to make you go watch the video. I'm going to tell you about it now because I need to fill time because I have nothing else to talk about. My week has been slow. It's been very busy. Busy, but unremarkable. That's the word I'm looking for. So anyway, so what makes this duo so great, this MIG reader and the flash cart together, and get this is crazy shit, and God bless people that can come up with this stuff. That's all I'm saying. So the flash cart itself, right, is simulating a Switch cartridge. Now, the problem is, and some of you I know this already, but I'm going to go through the details. Every Nintendo Switch cartridge, not every title, every cartridge. So if you have 100 Mario Kart 8 cartridges, each of those 8 have their own unique certificate burned into the security chip of the cartridge. Ask you about retro handhelds. I know I'll talk about that a little bit. Let me finish this story, and then I'll tell you my limited exposure to them. And what I would do now if, I was going to pick something like that up. So on this card is, on every Switch card are a number of different files. Listen, there's nothing magic about the Switch cartridge. It is just like a flash drive. As long as you have a reader to get to the file system, you can access the files that are on it. But what this MIG dumper does is it takes everything off the cartridge and puts them into files, including the unique ID, the unique certificate or unit ID, as well as the sort of master secret key that all cartridges have that are somehow paired up with that unique identifier. So what makes a game you download from the internet different is there's no identifiers. So if you go download an XCI from Mario Kart 8, right, and you try to play that online on a Switch, you're going to get banned because they know that your ID is missing, so they know you pirated it, right? So here's the thing. The MIG dumper dumps everything that makes the cart unique onto your file system, so your PC. Then you take those files, all of them, and you stick them on the flash cartridge. The flash cartridge, at a hardware level, emulates a Switch game. So what does that mean? Technically, it means you can use it to play online. There's something going, yeah, but wait a minute. Wait. So does that mean I could buy, for my family of 4, I could buy 3 flash cartridges, 1 copy of Mario Kart 8, and then dump the game and then put it on all 3 of those flash cartridges, and we could all play online together for the cost of 1 cartridge? Hey now, Chris Henschel's here. What's up? The answer is no, because it's that cartridge's unique certificate is now going to be online 4 times at the same time. 4 times at the same time. Nintendo bans all 4 of you. Boop, boop, gone. So this is like the perfect device, because not only can you back up as legitimately as I think is possible. I can't figure out any way that they're breaking the law here, but you can back up your owned cartridges, put them on a flash drive, get the convenience of having 100 games with you at one time, and still play online, and still do everything that you would normally do. That's fucking genius, man. That's brilliant. They've basically made it piracy proof, mostly, right? Due to the fact that nothing online can be played with it. If you choose to put the XCI on there and not have any certificates for it, right, you can't play it online or you get banned. So there's that problem. But I mean, it's what a cover. There's no way to use this for piracy really without getting your ass banned, unless, of course, that you're going to play pirated ROMs on the flash cart, no online, and you're probably going to be in airplane mode just to make sure. And what we're hoping is that those pirated games don't leave anything behind, that when your machine is not in airplane mode and the cartridge is not in place and you're not trying to get online, that some update Nintendo can't look around inside your SD card's file system and say, hey, wait a minute, he played Mario Kart 8, there's no certificate number, he must have at some time played it in a pirated manner, let's ban it. I don't think that's the case, or we would have heard about it by now. So now you can bet the Switch 2 is going to be, they're going to learn from the MIG's exposure of their system. But from what I understand, so far anyway, and this could just be bullshit, it sounds like the Switch 2, which will be partially Switch 1 backward compatible, word on the street is that this MIG flash cartridge will continue to work. So that kind of makes it future-proof in a way. And at some point, I guarantee these bastards are going to figure out a way to do the same sort of shit with the Switch 2 software. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, maybe this is a good time to buy into this ecosystem. It's expensive. They're like $70 a piece, so that's 140 bones. 140 bucks. That's a lot of bread. So you got to decide, can you make use of it? And listen, if you're one of those people, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but there are people that pirate to preview. I've done it. I know several people that are on this chat right now have done it. You download a pirated game, you love it so much, you pay for it, you buy it. I've done that more times than I can tell you. Now, have I pirated games and then not bought them afterwards? Sure, I think everyone's done that too. So this is like the perfect way of being able to taste, right? As long as you've got a decent connection online where you can pick these files up, you should have no problem making this work out in a fairly safe environment. And because you could just switch SD cards, you could have your trial card, right? As well as your full-blown legal card. So it's great. So really, the only thing you really have to do is carry either two flash cards with you, two SD cards with you, and get the whole gambit covered, or you swap them out. You want to play something legit, put in the legal card. At the end of the day, if you want to do some trial stuff, you put it in airplane mode. Hopefully you remember to put it in airplane mode before you plug the MIG switch in, and then you're good. Then you can sample before you buy. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of shitty games on consoles, or on everything these days, And I don't know whatever happened to the demo, but for some reason, yeah, there's still demos out there. I know. A lot of games on Steam will have an early access demo or something like that. I know. But like a lot of times on consoles, there are no demos, right? So you spend the $60 and you're kind of screwed. At least Steam will let you return it in 2 hours of play or 2 weeks, right? So that was very nice of them to do that, and I've never once had a Steam return denied, and I've returned a lot of games to Steam, so that's kind of nice. But you don't really have that with a console. You really don't. So anyway, so this sort of takes some of that out. And now listen to me. Listen, I've got some discretionary income, although I may not after I pay my taxes. I have discretionary income. I can afford $140 to make that happen, And let's be honest, if you didn't want to do it legitimately at all, you only need the flash card. I love having the dumper because I think there's value in being able to get access to those games again and again. As the Switch 2 and the Switch 3 or whatever the hell the next thing is that Nintendo comes out with, the Switch 1 will become like the Super Nintendo. ROMs will be everywhere. Nintendo won't care, right? You're not stealing, food from their kids' mouths. Nobody's gonna. It'll be like downloading 2600 cartridges today. At some point, right? That's just the nature of the beast. So yeah, like the Wii U, you can go get those games anywhere. Wii games are like you kick over a garbage can and pirated Wii games fall out of it. So Yeah, it's funny. It's like Nintendo's such a piece of shit, and they're trying to stop it. Actually, they're not trying to stop emulation. They're trying to get you to stop pirating their fucking current generation software. And if you were a console manufacturer, if Microsoft or Sony had Nintendo's problems, they would be on a fucking rampage too. So I don't want to. Nintendo sucks. They don't want us to preserve our games. Listen, it's a first fucking gen. It's a current gen system, folks. I don't know what to tell you. But yes, I mean, this is a solution to a couple of different potential problems. You don't want to cart around 50 cartridges with you. Shit, that's $60 a hit. You lose this little tiny folio of game cartridges, you're out $1,000. I get it. I mean, there is a legitimate use case for backing up your own legitimate cartridges, playing them through this device. Just saying. Wow, way to run the red light, pal. Jesus. I mean, I didn't want to stop for the bum on the side of the road either, but listen. Whew. Anyway, so that's what I've been playing with the last few days, is just sort of experimenting and seeing how it works, and doing my research, right? Because you guys know I like to have all my info together, and so I did a video on that in case you want to watch a visual version of it after I just talked about it. So yeah, and then I've been playing a shitload of Enshrouded. Jesus, that game is a time fucking sump, man. Holy hell. Oh, retro handhelds. Okay, so yeah, you're lucky, How Chess. Is that How Chess? Yeah, okay. Sometimes it pops up and then I can't see it. Yeah, so here's the trick about buying handhelds. And Chris Womp Rat's here, he's your guy. So if you have specific questions, he will actually probably recommend, what is it, the Miu or whatever. What was it, the one, Chris, that you were all excited about? The trick about buying handhelds is this. What's the highest platform you must emulate? So for me personally, I need Amiga AGA technology emulation. Now, I realize that means probably absolutely nothing to half the people listening to this right now. Yeah, Mihu Mini. And you guys can mention, like, what's the top of the food chain for that. So the idea is, like, any handheld that you buy today, pretty much anything, from $30 to $300, it's going to play everything through 4th gen, something like that. 4th gen, something of that nature, right? And it'll do it very, very well. Now, once you get into like 5th gen and 6th gen and high-end PC type emulation, forget about it. There's a price point where it starts. Now, I haven't done my research lately, but for me, it's Amiga AGA, which probably is okay. So Amiga AGA is a real pain in the ass to emulate. It requires a lot of juice. There's a lot of custom processors in the Amiga, especially the AGA Amiga. It's a real pain in the ass to get full speed Amiga emulation on a handheld. That's mine. So if I'm going to buy anything to play emulation on, it has to provide full speed AGA Amiga emulation. Now, for you, maybe that's full speed PlayStation 2 emulation or PlayStation 1 emulation. If it's PlayStation 3 emulation, you can pack sand, because even the Steam Deck doesn't do that. If you're talking about full speed Xbox emulation or 360 emulation, even the Steam Deck's probably not going to provide that all the time, right? So I think you can get reasonable, reliable, decent, marketable type handhelds that will do up to PlayStation 1, along with mostly good GameCube, right? That sort of era. You could probably get that for under $100. I don't know what the Miu will play up to, but yeah. I mean, so for me, the Steam Deck, I'm assuming you have the LCD Steam Deck. The LCD, I'm telling you, it's so weird. The LCD versus the OLED, it's only 30 grams. It's only, you have the OLED. Good thing you don't have the LCD. But the 30 grams really made the difference for me. I can use the OLED a lot longer than the LCD because of that, just that 30 grams. It's amazing that even makes a difference, but it does. But yeah, so when I had COVID, and I didn't have the Steam Deck yet, or I would have been using that. I used an Anbernic, right, that Chris had just mentioned, and I played through one of my favorite RPGs of all time, the Commodore 64 game of Legacy of the Ancients, and I played it front to back while I was waylaid on the couch. Played the whole game all on a handheld, which just blows my mind because I also have a Commodore 64 SX, which is the 22-pound portable Commodore 64. To be able to sit there and play Legacy of the Ancients on a $35 handheld, in 2022 or whatever it was, just blows my mind. Even more blew my mind when I could play Dragon's Lair and Space Ace on it. That's crazy. I was in the arcade dumping 50 cents a hit for 5-6 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to get a $35 handheld that will produce that level of gaming love, it makes me crazy. Let me bitch a little bit. It makes me crazy, these people on Reddit that bitch because the Steam Deck won't play one of like 6 games. It's always Fortnite, Destiny 2, Call of Duty. There's like 5 or 6 of them that always come up, and it's the only thing I want to play on my deck. Really? That's the only thing you want to play? That's the only thing that will make your life complete? Yeah, FIFA's another one. That's another one where they just added it. I think all the new sporting ones all have anti-cheat that you can't play. But everyone, it's like, dude, okay, right now I think there's like, what was it, 18,000 verified or playable games on the deck. 18,000. That's a crazy number for a non-Windows fucking handheld. And then if you're still gonna whine, for Christ's sake, how many systems can you play emulated on the Steam Deck? 100? 150? With, I don't remember I don't know which system has the most games ever. But like the Commodore 64 had like 35,000 games. Just the Commodore 64. What were there, like 500 games for the Atari 2600? I'm just thinking, it's crazy because, you've got access to every era of gaming, almost every era of gaming. You've got access to hundreds of thousands of games, but your life is incomplete because I can't play Destiny 2. Get the fuck out of here. Bother me. Come on. Then go buy a ROG Ally. Go spend $800 on something that's totally uncomfortable to hold that you're going to plug into a TV and play anyway. It boggles the mind. I get it. Listen, when I bought the Steam Deck, I had a short list of games that if it didn't work, it was going back. And Overwatch 2 was one, or Overwatch at that time, I think, was one of them. If it didn't play Overwatch, it was going back. That was the game that it had to play, right? But that was when it first came out and nobody knew anything. Nobody knew what it would play. But if you buy a Steam Deck to play something now, you are a moron if you don't know whether the Steam Deck plays it or not. So, like, if you bought a Steam Deck thinking you were going to play Call of Duty Black Ops 6, you're an idiot because it doesn't work. And all it would take you is 2 seconds in Google to find that out. But it's like, now your life's incomplete because you can't play fucking Fortnite on the Steam Deck. Well, you picked the wrong stuff. I did buy a gaming PC to play FIFA and others. Yeah, for me, yeah, there's a couple of times that I wanted to play Black Ops on my deck. I got a portable drive that sticks to the back of the unit. I put Windows on it and I can play Black Ops 6. It's not as convenient, but it works and it works well. And all I have to do is clip a drive to the back and plug it in. Life's not over because I can't play Black Ops 6. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, this Enshrouded game, god damn it. They really know. God damn it, I thought that was my green light. I almost fell for it. Hate that. But yeah, Enshrouded's been taking up all my free time, bastards. Played a little bit of the new Marvel Rivals season that just came out. The game needs more balancing, I think. There are characters which are basically unstoppable, and it's like you can't You can't have that forever. Why, thank you, Chris. How generous of you. Let's see. Why'd that car just jump in front of me? Hey, pal. You know, I will continue to support if Valve continues to come out with stuff like Steam Deck 2. I'm totally there. It is like a no-brainer unless they really fuck it up, right? If they come out with a Steam machine for the TV, I'll have one. Bet your ass. This is what I want. I want the power of the handheld and the console, but I want to be out of the walled garden, right? I've owned them all at one time or another. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had the latest Xbox, and I haven't had a PS5. But everything before then, I've had one, and it's either rotting in a crate somewhere, or I turned around and sold it. The PS4, I don't think made it 6 months. But yeah, like a Steam console, hell yes. I would be there in 2 seconds. Just, not even necessarily because I play it, because I don't like playing on the TV anymore. I like playing on the handheld, or listen, I've got a fucking kick-ass gaming PC. There's really no reason for me to play on the TV anymore, but I digress. But yeah, but another console like the Switch 2, my wife wants one, but even she's starting to cross-check and say, oh yeah. Oh, trust me. I'm almost to the point now where I bet I could get Steam to send me a Steam console for free. I can't get Beelink to send me a Nook for free, but yeah, the Switch and the 360 sold the X. Yeah. I have an Xbox literally gathering dust right across from my desk inside this little alcove. I have no desire to play it. My son has the PS3 in his room because he wanted to play the old God of War games. But, I mean, the PS2 is locked up in a storage facility somewhere. It's just, I am definitely not a console closed ecosystem guy anymore. I've had a taste of freedom and I like it. Yes, I use a modified Xbox controller, a Series controller with the Armor X Pro on the back, so I get gyro. And I get my extra buttons along with rechargeable battery and all that stuff. That's been the best $60 I've ever spent. I can't use anything without gyro anymore. There's sure as hell I'm not going to be buying a DualShock Pro controller. So this is my way, my means. Yeah, I'm almost home, folks. I should probably wrap this guy up or I'll lose it to my Wi-Fi. Listen, I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, oh, by the way, there is a new way of doing RSS for this, for the show. Drop into the Discord, you'll find it in there. But yeah, there's a way you can podcast the show again that doesn't require manual intervention from me, thank God. So that's it for me. I'm Shane R. Monroe, Pageantry Radio. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.